Hey there, brothers. Today I'm recording the second video in my series of 30 videos. I'll be talking about the 12 apostles and our Messiah's birth. They falsely claimed our Messiah was born in Bethlehem of Judea, but it's actually Bethlehem in the West Bank. This is the first lie of the Jews. I've got nothing against Jews, as I've said. I'm just against lies. Let the truth be known. They lied, made up a story, thinking they'd fool everyone for all time. But the mask is slipping. Babylon is falling. Not just evangelical or religious Babylon, but all Babylons are crumbling. So today I'll discuss the Messiah's birth and where the 12 apostles were born. I've got some documents here from my travels. I always keep mementos, take photos, and save these papers. Today I'll talk about the birth of the Messiah and then the 12 apostles. Well, brothers and sisters, first let me ask you a question. If your wife was 9 months pregnant, would you dare put her on a donkey and travel 150 kilometers, about a day and a half journey back then? Would you do that? Well then, at that time, the Roman census took place in many cities, including Samaria, Galilee, and Judea. Back then, there were three main regions. Galilee, where they spoke Aramaic. Samaria, where they also spoke Aramaic. And Judea, where they spoke Hebrew. Remember, Hebrew is just a simplified version of Aramaic. Well, everyone says the Messiah was born in Bethlehem, Israel, Bethlehem of Judea. Today, if you look it up, you'll see that Bethlehem has always been in the West Bank. Every time people visit Israel, they have to cross the border. Look at the lie they've told. You arrive in Israel thinking it's the Holy Land they claim it to be. But when you visit where they say the Messiah was born, you have to cross into another country. You must leave, show your passport, and cross from Israel to the West Bank, where Bethlehem is. Of course, the Messiah wasn't born in Bethlehem, not in the West Bank or Judea. The Messiah was born in Bethlehem of Galilee. Note, Bethlehem of Galilee and Judea are different. Nazareth to Bethlehem in the West Bank is 150 kilometers. They lied. Judea doesn't have a Bethlehem. Bethlehem, where they claim the Messiah was born, is in the West Bank. If you visit Israel, you'll need to cross the border into the West Bank to see the supposed birthplace of the Messiah. Of course, it's a lie. The Messiah wasn't born there. From Nazareth to Bethlehem of Galilee is only 7 kilometers. Now, brothers, whether we call them Joseph and Mary or other names, what matters is the story and context. So Joseph and Mary left Nazareth to go to Bethlehem. The story, a farce they created, mentions Bethlehem of Judea, which doesn't exist. Bethlehem is in the West Bank. From Nazareth to there, it's 150 kilometers. Imagine a woman 9 months pregnant. riding a donkey 150 kilometers to Bethlehem in Judea, which is in the West Bank, not Israel. It's a farce, man. It's all a sham. Looking at old maps, you'll see a Bethlehem just 7 kilometers from Nazareth in Galilee. Where do you think Joseph and Mary took our Messiah? To Bethlehem in Judea, West Bank, 150 kilometers away, or Bethlehem in Galilee, just 7 kilometers. The Roman census was in all states then, in Galilee's Bethlehem, West Bank's Bethlehem, called Judea, and Samaria. The census was happening in many places. So when Joseph and Mary left Nazareth for the census, it was to Bethlehem in Galilee. I'll show you the map, then you can analyze and research what I'm saying. So now you know, claiming the Messiah was born in Bethlehem of Judea is a lie. There's no Bethlehem in Judea or the West Bank. So this farce is over. It doesn't exist. The Messiah was born in Bethlehem of Galilee. Check the map yourself. Look up the oldest maps and you'll see Bethlehem of Galilee. Well, my brothers, part 2. Where are the apostles from? Let's see. Simon Peter was born in Bethsaida, Galilee. Andrew was also born in Bethsaida. James was born in Bethsaida, Galilee. John was also born in Bethsaida, Galilee. Philip was born in Bethsaida, Galilee. Bartholomew was born in Cana, Galilee. Thomas was born in Galilee. Matthew was born in Capernaum, Galilee. James was born in Galilee. Judas Thaddeus was born in Galilee. Simon was born in Galilee. Judas Iscariot was born in Judea. Understand, brothers, our Messiah chose 11 Galileans and 1 Jew. The 11 Galileans spoke Aramaic. Judas Iscariot spoke Hebrew. Don't forget, Hebrew's just a cheap Aramaic knockoff. Note, brothers, what our Messiah did. He sent us a message. 12 are Galileans. Sorry, 11 are Galilean, 1's Jewish. And who betrayed our Messiah? Wasn't it the Jew? The Messiah's message, I chose 12, 11 Galileans, 1 Jew. Get it, brothers? Judas Iscariot was Jewish. Who persecuted our Messiah? The Jews. Who told Romans to kill our Messiah? The Jews. Nothing against Jews, but truth's truth. They blame Rome, but they paid Rome to kill our Messiah. So, brothers, 11 Galilean apostles spoke Aramaic. 1 Jewish apostle spoke Hebrew. Judas Iscariot, Jewish, Hebrew speaking, and the traitor. That's the message our Messiah sent us. Beware of Jewish teachings. Pay attention, brothers. The Jews, the apostles, when our Messiah died, don't forget, our Messiah was Galilean. If you look in the ancient scriptures, you'll see. Everyone thought he was a Samaritan. They'd say, aren't you a Samaritan? Don't you have a demon inside you? They said this to our Messiah. But the Messiah's name is Galilean. But doesn't salvation come from the Jews? Of course not, it never does. Salvation came from heaven. The bread of life descended from above. So, my brothers, the Messiah was Galilean. The 11 apostles were Galilean. Only one, Judas Iscariot, was a Hebrew-speaking Jew. This message our Messiah sent us was for this reason. 11 Galileans, Messiah Galilean, 11 Galilean apostles, and Judas Iscariot, the Hebrew Jew, the traitor who deceived. Today it's the same. When you look at the New Testament scriptures, brothers, it was all written in Greek. So you want to take the Greek New Testament and translate it into Hebrew, my brothers? That's not a thing. This Hebrew was invented to confuse people. The entire New Testament was written in Greek. When our Messiah died and rose, he met the 11 apostles. One had died, the traitor killed himself. So, my brothers, that's where it starts. Our Messiah dies, rises, ascends, descends, walks on earth for 40 days, then tells the apostles, I received the Father's Spirit, and now you will too. Then our Father pours his Spirit on the 11 apostles at that moment. Right then, the 11 apostles receive the Father's Spirit and instantly start speaking Greek and Latin to teach worldwide. When the apostles received our Father's Spirit, they began speaking and writing in other languages through the Spirit. They didn't need to go to school for it and write other languages through the Spirit. They didn't need to attend Hebrew or Aramaic classes. It wasn't necessary. When preaching in Rome, they'd use Latin. Aramaic wouldn't help there, would it? No one would understand. If the apostles preached in Aramaic in Greece, nobody would comprehend. So God gave them the Spirit, and they instantly knew Greek and Latin. Later, our Messiah chose Saul, also known as Paul of Tarsus. Where was Saul from? Paul. We know him as Paul, but he's Saul of Tarsus. And where's our brother Paul from? He was the last apostle chosen. Our brother Paul, the last apostle, was born in Tarsus. It was Persia then. Now it's Turkey. So of the 12 apostles, 11 were Galilean, 1 was Persian, now Turkish. If you want to speak, go ahead. It's no problem. Our brother Paul was from Tarsus in Turkey. Back then it was Persia, but now it's Turkey. So 11 apostles were Galilean. Our Messiah was Galilean. Only Judas Iscariot was a Hebrew-speaking Jew. Paul spoke Aramaic. The 11 apostles spoke Aramaic. Our Messiah spoke Aramaic, Greek, and Latin. He spoke all languages. When our Messiah would teach, he'd go to Syria, to Tyre and Sidon to preach. He'd speak Aramaic with the people there. When Greeks came, he'd speak Greek to them. When Romans came, he'd speak Latin to them. Our Messiah already knew all languages. The Jews even asked, look, this man never studied. How does he know all this? Why? Because he knew Latin, Greek, and Aramaic. He taught in all languages already. After he dies and rises, our Father, through our Messiah, pours out the Spirit on the apostles, and they begin to speak Latin and Greek. They then go out speaking in all the countries of Europe, which today is the European Union. They go to Greece, to Rome, and all the countries they traveled through. So, my brothers, just to confirm for you today, today's an important study. The Messiah was Galilean, Simon Peter Galilean, Andrew Galilean, James Galilean, John Galilean, Philip Galilean, Bartholomew Galilean, Thomas Galilean, Matthew Galilean, James Galilean, Judas Thaddeus Galilean, Simon Galilean, and Judas Iscariot, Jewish. All of these, except Judas Iscariot, spoke Aramaic. After the Messiah dies and rises, he receives the Spirit and speaks Greek and Latin. Then our brother Paul joins the 12 apostles. He was from Turkey, from Persia. Tarsus stays in Turkey, joins the apostles, receives the Spirit, and speaks Greek and Latin. Then he goes out preaching everywhere. When I talk about receiving our Father's Spirit, brothers, what was its purpose? Our Father gave the Spirit so one could speak other languages and teach people. So when the apostles received our Father's Spirit, they instantly learned Greek.